Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
I haven't had issues with Puff. I don't like him like that. Like I don't like things that he would do and make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
What did it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said that you're a hater. They
You're
said
a
you're crazy.
hater. You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting.
Now, we all know 50 Cent had been trolling Diddy even before this whole mess blew up. However, it seems like the guy decided to level up, and now he allegedly got more dark truths exposed. And listen, this ain't your average shade throwing. We're talking footage, names, and receipts that'll make you rethink every red carpet hug and awkward BET Awards moment you've ever seen. Let's get started. If there's one person who knows how to keep their foot on somebody's neck, it's Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. The man is a walking meme, a petty god, and lately, he's been out for one person and one person only, Diddy. And this time, he ain't just clowning on Instagram or throwing some subliminal bars in a freestyle. No, this man straight up dropped a nuclear bomb in the form of leaked footage, and let's just say the industry has not been the same since. At least that's what the internet has been saying.
Worse, way worse.
Wow.
Oh, you kidding me up?
Like penetration pictures and
Nah, come on, man. Come on, Phil.
all that. And I called the nigga. I said, yo, you with this girl? Like, you really, like, you like her like that? And he was like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm like, all right, I'm going to send you something. You look at it, you call me back.
Well, it's nothing surprising, especially since 50 Cent is involved. The alleged footage? Oh, it's reportedly from one of those infamous freak-off parties we've been hearing whispers about for years. And guess who's front and center? None other than Diddy himself, allegedly surrounded by his alleged trans ex, some questionable company, and, plot twist, Busta Rhymes. Yeah, I said it. Big man Busta. Front and center, like he's hosting a cookout, but the only thing on the grill is his reputation. See, for years, folks have side-eyed those Diddy parties. 50 even said it himself in a concert. Basically, 50 Cent explained why he does not go to Diddy's parties, and what he said literally took everyone by surprise.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about?
At the time, people laughed it off. Classic 50 being 50, right? But now? That same clip is being dug up and treated like the gospel, because apparently Fifth knew exactly what he was talking about. And don't even get started with the allegation, because almost all of the accusations can be related to what 50 Cent had been allegedly warning us about. I mean, messy, nasty parties and tapes. Yes, tapes. Okay, let's go back a little and talk about these now infamous freak-offs, because they weren't your average champagne and candles kind of party. Nah. According to prosecutors, these were X-rated blockbusters, complete with casting calls, a director's chair, and enough chaos to make an HBO After Dark episode blush. Allegedly, these so-called freak-offs weren't just wild parties. They were produced, directed, and fully orchestrated by Mr. Diddy himself, who, prosecutors say, wasn't just in the room. He was front and center, calling the shots, reportedly pleasuring himself while watching the madness unfold. Picture that like some twisted DJ Khaled yelling, "Another one," every time a new act hits the scene. The vibe? Think multi-day freak fests, with rotating casts of commercial sex workers, camera equipment, and a never-ending supply of drugs.
The drugs are important to talk about because Cassie Ventura testified that she would do certain drugs with Combs during those so-called freak-offs, the hour-long sex parties that involved escorts and drugs.
And I mean never-ending. Prosecutors allege Diddy didn't just host these marathon sessions, he weaponized them.
She testified that they would smoke, drink inside the hotel room, have marathons until Diddy finally said it was over. There would also be music and mood lighting. I came across this article from April of 2023 when Diddy did carpool karaoke with James Corden, and today it reads completely different. He tells James Corden that music is one of the most important ways for him to get things moving with his partner. Next on his list, though, was something a little less conventional.
Supposedly, he plied attendees with controlled substances like it was candy night at the Playboy Mansion, all to keep them obedient and compliant. Yep, that's the word they used. Now here's where it gets really dark. Prosecutors claim Diddy didn't just rely on drugs and party favors to keep these so-called events going. They say he used force, threats, and straight-up intimidation to get people to participate. These weren't just wild parties for fun. They were allegedly engineered, pressured experiences, sometimes involving people under heavy influence and zero ability to give proper consent. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is out here saying, "Hold up, it was all consensual."
Inside, Diddy's defense attorney focused on some of the extremely graphic text messages they exchanged, suggesting Cassie not only helped plan the alleged drug-fueled sex parties, but also enjoyed them.
So we've got two wildly different pictures, but only one of them's backed by court filings that use the phrase masturbated during produced sex performances. I mean, hello? And get this. After the freak-offs wrapped up, they weren't heading to brunch. Oh no. Victims and Diddy himself were allegedly receiving IV drips like it was the Coachella recovery room. That's how intense these gatherings got. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill nightcap. We're talking full-body burnout, requiring actual medical intervention just to get back to baseline. And these freak-offs weren't spontaneous, spur-of-the-moment hookups either. Allegedly, they were prepped, planned, booked like a wedding. Prosecutors say Diddy's team went full event planner mode, arranging luxury hotel rooms, flying in talent, bringing in private cleaners to wipe every trace afterward, and even handing Diddy wads of cash, straight stacks, to pay off the workers involved. Because when you're throwing a multi-day sex rave allegedly full of substances and celebrities, you better believe the receipt trail ain't short. So if you were picturing a chill VIP after-party, think again. These were reported to be drug-fueled, hyper-organized freak shows with Diddy allegedly pulling every string behind the curtain like a velvet-robed puppet master. And now that whole setup is coming back to bite, hard, as prosecutors drag each twisted detail into the light. Now let's go back to 50 Cent, because it seems like he got more receipts. This time, the king of trolling is coming with documents, depositions, and a docu-series that might just shake the entire culture to its core. You thought it was over after the memes? Think again. This ain't Instagram shade. This is Netflix-level smoke. And the name of the show? I kid you not. Diddy Do It.
When I say 50 Cent is unmatched, he is unmatched. His pettiness goes beyond anybody that has ever been petty in the hemisphere of pettyism in this damn universe. Child, 50 Cent made a bidding war off of Diddy Do It. Diddy Do It was bought by Netflix, baby. So this docu-series will be out about everything that has happened since Cassie has filed this lawsuit against Diddy.
This isn't a rumor. This isn't a cryptic IG story with an eyeball emoji. This is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, hip-hop's most savage instigator turned media mogul, teaming up with Netflix to dig deep into the jaw-dropping pile of allegations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. And y'all, they are not playing. According to insiders, this docu-series is about to go full excavation mode on everything from sex trafficking and racketeering to violent abuse, manipulation, and decades of behind-the-scenes madness that allegedly happened while the world was busy dancing to Bad Boy for Life. And let's not act surprised. 50's been teasing this for months now, dropping breadcrumbs on socials, grinning like the cat who caught the canary every time Diddy's name popped up in the headlines. Oh, in case you missed it, this is not the first time 50 Cent is after Diddy's head. Nope, he had been doing it for years, but now it's getting more serious. So serious that word on the street is saying that Fifth might add more tapes on the already existing ones. But now, he's not just trolling, he's producing. That's right. He's stepping from the meme game into the media game. And this time, he's backed by an entire Netflix machine ready to blast this scandal into living rooms around the world. Directed by Alexandria Stapleton, the series is still in production. But what we know already, it's deep. This isn't just a montage of headlines and Twitter reactions. According to a statement from 50 and Stapleton themselves, this story is going to dig beyond the shock factor and into the real-life damage, giving a platform to alleged survivors and victims who haven't had a chance to speak their truth. They said, this is a story with significant human impact. It is a complex narrative spanning decades, not just the headlines or clips seen so far. What does this mean? This ain't clickbait. This is receipts, raw accounts, and voices that were silenced, finally stepping into the light. But don't get it twisted. 50 also made it clear this isn't about throwing the entire culture under the bus. He emphasized that while the allegations are disturbing, this docu-series won't let one man's alleged actions stain the legacy of hip-hop as a whole. Respectfully, that's a smart move. 'Cause while Diddy's empire might be cracking, the culture is bigger than Bad Boy. And 50 knows that. That's why this series is being handled with the kind of careful storytelling you don't expect from someone whose favorite hobby is trolling people into therapy. But even with all that nuance and care, don't expect this docu-series to pull punches. Word on the street is it includes actual footage, testimonies, and confessions. We're talking former employees, insiders, and maybe even celebs who were once too scared to speak up. It's being called the surviving R. Kelly of hip-hop, but darker, deeper, and more connected to current events. Because while some of these alleged freaky tales go back decades, the heat around Diddy is very now. And 50? Oh, he's having the time of his life. If trolling Diddy online was the appetizer, this docu-series is the whole 12-course meal, chef's kiss and all. He's finally getting to do what he loves: expose, entertain, and absolutely dominate the narrative, all while collecting Netflix checks. So yeah, Diddy might be trying to lawyer up, keep quiet, and stay low-key, but if this series drops the way it's being teased, there's nowhere to hide. Because the moment that Diddy Do It title card hits Netflix, the internet is going to implode. And let's be honest, if anyone was going to name a docu-series that wild and get away with it, it's 50 Cent, petty level, Olympic gold medalist. The rumor mill says there are tapes. Yep, actual tapes from these parties. Some allegedly sold on the dark web, some allegedly in 50's possession, and some reportedly featured in that Netflix docu-series that's coming real soon. Yup, the one we mentioned earlier. Now, while some of you might think there is no way these tapes exist, remember, Cassie made a testimony about this. And what did she say in court? Diddy records their freakoffs, and not just Cassie. Other witnesses, like a woman who went by a pseudonym, claimed that Diddy recorded her, and these recordings, Diddy keeps and uses them to blackmail his victims. The feds also mentioned the existence of these recordings after they raided Diddy's mansion. So yes, these tapes exist, and rumor has it that 50 Cent has a copy. Looking at it now, it seems like Diddy has no way out, because this is bigger than just gossip. It's about power, about secrets, about an entire industry built on image while hiding the ugliest truths. And when people like Tony Newman start speaking up and folks like 50 Cent back it up with footage, you better believe the walls are closing in. But here's where it gets insane, because one of the bombshells in the middle of this mess is none other than Tony Newman, a former trans escort and industry whistleblower who's been dropping names like she's at roll call. And the roster? Wild. Diddy. Busta Rhymes. LL Cool J. Mr. C. Like, she literally sat down and said, "Let me tell you who's been sneaking around in these backdoor freak-offs." And best believe the industry is shook. Tony claims she and another escort once worked at an event where multiple high-profile rappers were not only present, but actively participating in, let's call it, extracurricular activities. She says she had personal encounters with some of them, including LL Cool J, who allegedly knew her full background and was totally cool with it, until she went public. Then, cease and desist letters, threats, full PR lockdown. Like, she hit a nerve and everybody in power started scrambling. And guess what? That's the same pattern we're now seeing with Busta Rhymes. Because according to Tony, Busta wasn't just at these events, he was organizing them, handpicking attendees, and according to industry insiders, the man had a type, young fanboys, allegedly. Now, y'all already know Busta's got a voice that could wake up an entire neighborhood and a stage presence that burns calories just watching. But when it came to the hurricane swirling around Diddy's legal troubles, the flip mode general straight up pulled a ninja move. Disappeared into the fog like poof, nothing to see here. In an interview with Extra around October 2024, right when things were really heating up, Busta said something that made the whole internet do a double take. He said, "This isn't a hip-hop situation." Wait, hold up, come again, sir?
Number one, I think we need to stop doing a hip-hop scene. Like, this situation is not a hip-hop situation. I also would like for everyone to be mindful of the thirst and the urgency and the need to speak on the situation.
Yep, Busta wanted to make one thing crystal clear. Diddy's drama That's not a hip-hop community issue. That's a Diddy issue. Meaning, don't try to drag the whole culture into this mess. Don't go lumping him or the entire rap industry into the chaos just because of one man's alleged freak-off-filled downfall. He told everybody to pump the brakes, take a seat, and maybe, just maybe, mind their business. And you know what? As much as it sounded like a diplomatic dodge, Busta kind of had a point. He said everyone was way too thirsty to speak up, throwing out takes left and right like it was hot gossip instead of a serious situation with real lives involved. The internet was eating it up like a Popeyes combo meal, but Busta was out here sipping water, staying hydrated, and choosing peace. He explained that he's not quick to form opinions based on headlines, social media, or what somebody's cousin's barber said on TikTok. Nah, Busta said he likes to wait for the truth. Not partial truth, not alleged truth. He wants undisputed truth before he even thinks about having an opinion. Until then, silence, zipped lips, minded business. And get this, he wasn't just talking about protecting Diddy. Busta also said it's unfortunate for everyone involved, victims included. He said he wouldn't wish this kind of situation on his worst enemy. And that part hit different because you could tell he meant it. Like, yeah, he was keeping it neutral, but he was also saying, yo, this ain't something to make a meme out of. This is real life. People are hurting on both sides. So, at the premiere of Venom: The Last Dance, which, side note, what a wild place to be addressing the Diddy drama, Busta ended his statement with the ultimate mic drop. I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna mind my business. And in true Busta fashion, he said it loud enough for the whole city to hear. Keep your opinions to yourself. Because every hot take, every tweet, every viral video might be causing more harm than good. It's giving, stay out the kitchen if you can't handle the legal heat. So while half the industry was scrambling to distance themselves or no comment their way through the storm, Busta gave us the most mature, grown man don't drag me into this energy possible. And honestly, in a world where everyone's trying to go viral for speaking, Busta went viral for shutting up. However, looking back at it now, it looks like Busta was just trying to keep his name clean and stay out of all the legal fiasco. But now, it seems like he can't really avoid it anymore. Now let's talk about Big Homie Double C, another voice chiming in with the realness. This dude has been in industry security circles for years, and according to him, promoters knew Busta had strange VIP requests. Not for drinks, not for girls, but for fun boys. Like it was a known thing behind the scenes. If Busta's coming, you better have a lineup ready. And suddenly, all those old 50-cent jabs about Busta's leather outfits, thirst traps, and gym thirst suddenly don't seem like jokes. They seem like hints, because 50 ? Oh, he knew, and he knew a lot. Then we have Orlando Brown. Now, let's rewind for a second.
One thing he said about Diddy was that Diddy wants to party, but you gotta tell him no.
Oh yeah, well you do gotta tell him no.
A while back, Orlando sat down for one of those internet-breaking interviews where he casually dropped the kind of bomb that made everyone's eyes bulge and jaws hit the floor. He claimed, and brace yourself, that he had slept with none other than Busta Rhymes. Yeah, he said it with his whole chest, on camera, no flinching, just vibes. And the internet? Did what the internet does best. Laughed, memed it, and said, oh, that's just Orlando being Orlando. But hold up, let's not hit fast forward just yet, because in light of all these fresh Diddy allegations, we're talking sex trafficking, racketeering, prostitution-related charges, and a laundry list of federal heat. People are doing the unthinkable, revisiting Orlando Brown's wildest quotes. And suddenly, some of them don't seem so unhinged anymore. In one resurfaced clip that's making its rounds faster than Diddy's legal team can blink, Orlando says, and we quote, I got to say no to Diddy. If there's new booty in the building, you know he's going to get it. You can take the bitch. But he wants you. Now, let's be honest. When he said this before, it sounded like nonsense. Pure chaos energy. But now, with the federal charges, the so-called freak-offs, and the testimonies coming to light, that quote hitting a little too close to home? Don't get me started with previous comments 50 Cent made, because we all know he has a lot to say about Diddy's preferences, right? I mean, remember when he mentioned how he just can't stand Diddy? And X, TikTok, Reddit, they're all having a collective wait a damn minute moment. Let's be clear though, Orlando Brown isn't exactly a pillar of consistency. One minute he's calling Diddy gay and saying, "I love Diddy." The next he's claiming artists sold their souls and got hazed harder than expected. It's a chaotic swirl of truth, exaggeration, and pure spectacle. But as this Diddy investigation blows up, even some of those contradictions start to make a weird kind of sense. Like, maybe Orlando was dropping breadcrumbs, just through the lens of a man who's seen too much and smoked even more. And here's the wildest part. Some fans now think he's owed an apology. Imagine that. In a twist no one saw coming, the internet is going from "Orlando's off his rocker" to "Wait, was Orlando our prophet all along?" It's like he was trying to tell us and we were too busy laughing to hear the warning. But look, this ain't about turning Orlando into a saint. Let's not get carried away. The man's got a messy history, a battle with addiction, and a resume of controversy that stretches longer than a Tyler Perry movie. But in this current climate, with everything coming out about Diddy, Orlando's crazy stories suddenly seem like puzzle pieces that might actually fit. So now the question is, what else did Orlando say that we brushed off? What other chaotic rants are really just the raw, unfiltered tea buried under layers of mess? Because if we learned anything from this situation, it's that sometimes the loudest clown in the circus might be the only one pointing at the fire and yelling, "This whole tent's about to burn down." Because based on what insiders and Tony Newman are saying, those parties, they weren't just about fun. They were about control, exploitation, gatekeeping. Allegedly, Orlando wasn't just a guest. He might have been passed around like a party favor, which, if true, is beyond disturbing. And yet, for someone who's always been quick to shut down any talk of sexuality, Busta has had some real defensive moments over the years. Like that time in 2006 when he allegedly used a homophobic slur in a bar. Or that 2007 radio interview where he stormed out when the topic of homophobia in hip-hop came up. Like, why so touchy? And here's the kicker. Remember how Busta Rhymes came out defending Diddy after the Cassie Hotel video dropped, called for people to wait for the facts? That aged like milk. Because now folks are saying Busta might have been defending him not out of loyalty, but out of fear. Fear that his own name might come up next. And don't forget Tony's other claims, like how she heard from former Bad Boy employees that Diddy was known for being bisexual, that he played both sides, that he ran with people who kept secrets and buried the ones who talked. Even Nicki Minaj dropped hints back in the day, talking about undercover brothers in the game. And now, all those cryptic comments are hitting real different. But back to the tapes, because allegedly 50 Cent isn't done. He's holding cards, footage, confessions, stuff that hasn't been released yet. And if this is just the beginning, imagine what's coming next. So what happens now? We wait. We wait for that Netflix drop, we wait to see who else gets exposed, we wait to see how many more tapes surface, and we wait to see if Diddy, or anyone else named, ever addresses this head-on. But here's what we do know. 50 Cent ain't letting this go. And if he really has what people say he has, this could be the biggest industry takedown we've ever seen. So what do you think? Are the rumors true? Is Busta hiding something? And just how many of these freak-off tapes are still floating around out there? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe for more chaos, and don't forget to check out the next video on your screen. Because trust me, it goes even deeper.